Now, for hundreds of years, the buried city of Pompeii has given archaeologists astonishing snapshots of life in ancient Rome. But it still holds some secrets, as science editor Rebecca Morell is in Pompeii with news of a new discovery.
We have something very special to show you. It's a major discovery that for the last 2,000 years has been lying buried beneath volcanic rock and ash. And you are going to be the first people to see this. It lies just beyond this door here. And who better to show us around than the director of Pompeii? Hi, Dr. Gabriel Zugtriegel. I mean, shall we go in? Absolutely. Come on, we'll take you with us. Wow. This is a spectacular room. What is this? What kind of room is this?
Well, it's something, if you see it normally in Pompeii, you would think this is a public bath complex. There were several in the city, but the special thing is we are in a private home here. So someone had really a lot of money and a lot of space, and in his private place he or her had this bath complex. This is only part of it. It's the frigidarium, so the cold bath. You had cold, fresh water from the aqueduct here, and then you have the warm room and the hot room. So it's a bit like a hammam. You go through various spaces. We're in a courtyard here, so it's partly open air, and this is really what made us think how to explain the fact that in a private home you have such a huge bath complex.
Yeah, I mean, this is an unusual discovery here, isn't it? I mean, normally to go into a bath you'd go to sort of the public baths, so the person who owned this must have been very wealthy.
Yeah, and they probably had parties going on with banquets and also bathing. We know that this was often linked in the Roman world. And why? Because they wanted to have fun, but also because they needed support maybe for elections and, you know, political activities and business affairs and so. So it had also a social function in this society.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost imagine it, can't you? You know, sitting around the ledge on this pool, chatting to your friends, taking a dip in the hot weather. I'm just going to show you some...
And maybe if you want to make a deal, right, it's working better here with a glass of wine than maybe in your
formal
office,
setting.
Right?
Yes, exactly. And I'm just going to show you some of the features here. I mean, we've got these steps, a pipe here, which would have let the cold water come out into the pool. And just on the corner here, this is one of my favourite things, a little pot that was found exactly...
Standing here since almost 2,000 years. So it's exactly in the position where it was in August 79 AD when Pompeii was buried and destroyed.
Teetering on the edge. Now, we're just going to move around a little bit to show you another part of the bathhouse. I mean, there's lots of scaffolding here because of these exquisite columns around the place. So we're going to head over to here, and these, I mean, they're lovely, the pots here. I mean, would you normally find pots like this in the middle of a bathhouse?
Because what we have in mind when you think of the Roman world are often these drawings and based on texts essentially and excavations of destroyed houses. Here in Pompeii we find everything as it was in 79, and probably, yeah, it might have been normal that the Roman world was a bit more stuffed and disorderly than we think, but it might also be linked to reconstruction and renovation work going on in the house. You see there's a pipe. This is also maybe not so normal because it was not covered. So maybe they were rebuilding some of the water system and the bath complex.
I mean, I love the plumbing here. Yeah. Roman plumbing is really, I mean, it's really neat. It's the kind of stuff you don't normally think about, but water would have been piped off into the street.
Yeah, and they had actually hot water and cold water. So there's a room without any decorations, painting, because there were slaves working there. This is the dark side of Roman history. They had many enslaved workers in this society, and they would make a fire under a huge water boiler, and then you had hot and cold water for the bath complex.
Yeah, so you've got the luxury, and then the poor people having to supply the luxury.
Romans had winter too, so...
Yeah.
You know.
A bit of both. And just up here, just very quickly, I'm just going to give us a little glimpse of the lovely fresco.
athletes in various poses, and it has something to do with religious rituals also. So it's meant to create an atmosphere of Greekness. So the Greek culture was kind of the model for all this.
Well, Gabriel, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, and it just shows you, I mean, kind of how luxurious this spa-like complex is. I mean, you can almost imagine the Romans here, you know, just now, bathing, chatting to their friends. I mean, it's an astonishing space. It's lovely.
Rebecca Morell, and if you're watching in the UK, you can see more on the excavation in Pompeii, the new Dig House of Treasures. That's on Monday on BBC Two at 9 o'clock or on the BBC iPlayer.